I'm back. I'm back. I am so excited to be back. I have so many things to tell you. I'm going to tell you about my birth story today because that is the thing that I love talking about. That's the thing that I love hearing about. That's the thing that I love learning about. If this is your first time here, my name is Shayla. I talk about motherhood. I talk about pregnancy. We do things a little natural, a little granola. I have a 2-year and 2-month-old or a 26-month-old and a 2-month-old. And I took 2 months off for maternity leave and now I am back to share this story. I just rewatched my birth story from my first daughter. I say this in there and I still think it's true. Like, people go to this black hole and give birth and then come out the other side and you're like, tell me everything that just happened, because that was like a huge, like, what? So something that I do is called hypnobirthing, and it's essentially where you train your mind and yourself all through pregnancy to like chill and relax and just like let the contractions or the surges wave over you and then go away. And the whole idea is to just like let your body relax and do what it wants to. I also read Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. Both of these things I would highly recommend if you're considering a natural birth, or if you just want to like be able to go with the flow, learn a little bit about birth, learn a little bit about how your body works. And because I've talked to a lot of people who did hypnobirthing and they're like, I got a C-section and it helped me a ton. So just putting that out there. I'll have the link to both of those things below. I had COVID during this pregnancy, so I just assumed that I was gonna go early because it ages your placenta, and I was just like, this baby's coming early. Don't get your mind thinking you're gonna have the baby early. Think you're gonna have it late, because starting at 37 weeks, I was like, it's gonna happen anytime now. It's just gonna happen anytime. And it didn't. At 40 weeks, when I went in, they're like, do you want to do cervical checks? And I was like, no, I don't want cervical checks, because I know that cervical checks don't mean anything. With my first daughter, I was 1/2 centimeter a couple days before she was born. And I was like, 1/2 centimeter, what does that even mean? I think you're just being nice. And this one, I went in on my 40-week appointment and I was 1 centimeter, okay? But this is what she said. The baby, obviously head down, but the back's supposed to be against your belly. The back was against the side. So she's like, so the baby's not engaging in your pelvis to like get the show on the road. And I was like, game on. So I did the Miles circuit, which is 1.5 hours of 3 stretches. I have a friend who said their doula was like, the Miles circuit can work, but nobody ever does it fully through. And I was like, I will. I'm going to do it fully through. Just because she said that. It was really boring, but I did it. I also looked up a bunch of spinning baby stuff and saw where my baby was positioned and different things that I could do to help her. I don't know if I announced that. I think I did in the community tab, but daughter number 2, which I love. So I did the Miles circuit, and then that night, starting at 11 p.m., I was like, kind of feel some cramps, but I was like, whatever, the cramps are coming and going. And so I went back to sleep. Then at 1 a.m., I was like, okay, they're kind of getting consistent here. So I went downstairs, had a little bit of like a mucus plug thing happening, but that's the thing with labor. You're like waiting for a sign. You're like, give me a sign. And everything that could be a sign could also not be a sign. You might have contractions, but those might be false contractions. You might lose your mucus plug never, or 2 weeks before. If your water breaks, that means it's probably happening soon, but some people's water never breaks. The baby comes out in the sac. There's just no clear indicator for when it's going down. But my midwife said, as soon as you go into labor this time, call me. I'm like, should I call my midwife? Because we labored at home for 5 hours last time. And she's like, yeah, you're not doing that this time. Just call me. So I called her and I was like, hey, I'm having pretty consistent contractions. She's like, okay, I'm getting ready. I'll see you in the hospital. And I was like, I don't think I really need to leave now. And Seth is even like, that seems so aggressive. I took a shower and I'm in the shower and all of a sudden my water breaks and I'm like, oh my gosh, my water's breaking. This is it. This is happening. I had to call my sister, and she lives a 1/2 hour away and the hospital's a 1/2 hour away. So we were at least an hour away from even getting there. That's something you don't have to do the first time. Like, figure out where your child's gonna go. Because usually it goes down in the middle of the night. Get in the car. I put in my hypno babies, start listening to my thing. And contractions are pretty consistent, fairly intense, where I'm like, okay, yes. We showed up 2 hours later. So we get to the hospital at 3. I think I'm 4 centimeters. Oh, and when she checked me to see how far I was dilated, she's like, your water didn't break. So did I just pee myself in the shower? I don't know. Probably. Nothing surprises me at this point. And I was like, all right, game on. I'm ready to get in the water. I labored in the tub with my first, but then they made me get out to deliver. Are you kidding me? I'm about to deliver this baby and you want me to get up out of this wonderful, serene tub, climb out of it onto dry land and lay on the bed and labor this baby? I was like, okay, so I didn't want to do that this time. Hydrotherapy, like a shower or a tub, is second to an epidural. So if you can do either of those things, it's gonna help with pain management. And I wasn't stuck on it either. Like I wasn't like, I really wanna have a water birth. I don't wanna have to get out of the tub again if I'm really feeling it. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for the tub. And she's like, we're gonna wait on the tub a little bit. It tends to slow labor down. And I was like, okay. So, and both of my labors, the first one was back labor for sure. This one was just a little bit uncomfortable. And so Seth would have to push on my low back and hips like every contraction. I thought that I would like want to walk around and squat and do stairs and like be in the hallway. Didn't want to do that at all. So I wanted to just lay down. So I found a comfortable position. Got a peanut ball, which is like a ball with, it's shaped like a peanut, ironically. And so you put your legs on it. So you're just kind of like this. I don't know why I look like Easter today. I'm laying like this and just like through my contractions. And then I think I was like that for an hour and I was like, she comes in ready for the tub. She's like, maybe try flipping over. So I flip over. She asked if I wanted to be checked. I didn't. Don't check me. Don't want to know. It's just a mind game at this point. I felt like things were moving along. So finally, she's like, okay, we can get in the tub. I'm like, good golly, thank goodness. And then it takes forever for the tub to fill up. So I like go to the bathroom. When you're in labor, for me at least, because I'm like fairly conservative, I'm not the person that's just gonna go like streaking or skinny dipping. But like breastfeeding, I'm like, do you mind if I do this on a walk around my neighborhood? But generally I'm like, I'll turn around to like take off my shirt or whatever. Not in the middle of labor, man. I did wear a sports bra, but everything else I was like, whatever. I get in the tub and they asked Seth if he wants to get in the tub with me. And he's like, no, which I don't blame. I would not want to get in that tub. Like I didn't even really want to, I wanted to be in the tub, but I didn't want to be in that water, you know, because stuff just starts coming out. So I finally get to the water and I'm doing my thing, hypnobirthing. I told Seth, I was like, Seth, last time you really didn't take that many pictures or do that many videos. And he was like, I literally had to counter pressure you every other minute because you were having back pain. Okay? I'm just saying, I kind of want a birth photographer. And he's like, no, I don't want another person in the room taking photos of like this very like intimate, small moment. And I was like, kind of agree with you, but like I really want some photos. And he's like, okay, I will work on it. So we got more photos and more video this time, which I'm really happy about. Why was I saying that? Oh, because he's counter pressuring me still. So I didn't see it until I saw the video that he put on. But I'm like, doing my like hypnobirthing, whatever noises were coming out of me. And I didn't even notice, but they set up like flameless candles and they were giving me essential oils on like this little sticker thing. This is amazing. But Seth is leaning over this tub. He's leaning over me to counter pressure my hips. And I understand I'm the one in labor, but like he did that for every single one. I could not ask for a better birth partner. He's amazing. I'm in the tub for like an hour and then my midwife starts being like, usually at about an hour, I'd like you to get out so I can check how far along we are, make sure that we're still progressing. Depending on where your water situation is, I will consider breaking the water because the water, if you break the water, the head will come into the cervix and like cause you to give birth. She said once we do break it, things will get more intense and it's about to go down. That sounds terrible. Like I don't want to do that. First of all, I don't want to get out of the tub. Second of all, I don't really want to break my water. I feel like things are going along pretty well. I didn't ignore her, but I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so when she left, I was like, Seth, I don't want to do that. So he told the midwife the next time she came in, like, yeah, she doesn't really feel like getting out of the tub and breaking her water. And she's like, oh, okay, no pressure. And it's funny because last time my midwife didn't show up, we just got an OB at the very end. And because I was doing a weird hypnobirthing thing in the water, I feel like they didn't know what to do with me. So hardly anybody was in there. This time the midwife like sat there the whole time to just kind of like watch and monitor. And I was like, just kept checking to see if she was still there, and she was still there. And I felt like wasn't there a giraffe that was on like 24-hour surveillance of her birth? That's how I felt. I was like, give me a minute. She wasn't talking. She was just like sitting there, which is probably what I would do if I was a midwife. I just want to see how things are going. So I must have like changed my primal calls that were happening. It went from to I remember last time I said, I don't know how to explain this, but eventually you're going to feel like pushing. I don't know how you don't know how to explain this. Everyone has pooped. That feeling that you get when you're on the toilet and all of a sudden you're like, okay, here it is, poop. That's how it feels. Because I started just like bearing down and like, that. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But at some point, Seth turned on the camera to record it from like a perfectly PG view. It was perfect. And what he didn't know is that it automatically turns off after 30 minutes. And he caught it at minute 17. Dude was tuned in. So he turns it on. You see a couple of my really intense like, then I feel this pop. and I hear this pop, and I was like, I think my water just broke. And Seth is pushing on my back. He's like, it did, because he felt the pop too. Isn't that wild? She tells me, okay, now that your water is broken, now that it's broken, it's going to get a lot more intense. Stop saying that. Just let me do. I love my midwife. 100%. I would have her as my midwife again if I were to have more babies, which I don't think we are. Then the next one, I kind of like push a little bit. She's coming out. Like, she is to here. I reached down. I go, she's halfway out. She's halfway out. Later I found out I literally thought she was like this. Apparently she was like this. She's like, yeah, she's pushing, she's bulging, but she wasn't out yet. Oh, bulging, cool. So I'm kind of panicky because I'm like, yo, I've got this like halo around her head that she's halfway out. Like, is she okay? And the midwife was like, yes, she's fine. It's stretching your skin right now. Let it do its thing. You're in the water, it's stretching. Breathe through the contraction. That's something that I didn't know. Like, you only push during contractions. I was ready the first time to just like push through and just like get this baby out. No, you need to push with the contraction. You work with your body. So basically I told them I just want to let my body do most of it, and then I just want to give them the little assist. And all of you have pooped before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you try and push that poop out when it's not ready, you're just gonna strain and nothing's gonna happen. But if you just like let your body kind of work its way most of the way out, you just need a little assist at the end. That's how I wanted to birth my baby, like a very calm poop. I'm like sitting there waiting for my skin to stretch. I'm like kind of panicking, and then Seth's like, catch your breath. So I like calm myself back down. Baby's almost out. I'm letting the skin stretch. I calm myself down, but my butt's still against the wall. So they told me when I labor in the tub, you need to make sure that you're on your back so that we can see what's going on to make sure that everything's happening safely. My midwife's trying to reach around me, trying to figure out what the heck's going on because she can't see anything. I'm like, I'm gonna poop, I'm gonna poop, I'm gonna poop. And they're like, well, that might just be the... And then you see on the camera, Seth just kind of like swat away with poop. They come in with like this little fish bag and take it away. So that happened. Then she asked me, can you turn? No!
Breathe.
Ugh. There's no way I can turn right now. I for sure can't get out of the tub, but I can definitely not pivot. If she doesn't come out on this push, you need to turn. And I was like, challenge accepted, lady. This baby's coming out. So I let it happen to the end. Pushed her out, pushed her right out. Her cord, the midwife caught her. Her cord was super short, so she said, I need you to stand up. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't lightheaded, nothing. I just like stood up because that's what I had to do. That's what she's like, I need you to lift your leg. So I lift my leg up. We pull the baby this way through. Her cord is very short, which is fine. We do the delayed cord clamping. Wait till the cord stops pulsing. 30% of the blood goes to the baby after they're delivered. They're trying to like syringe out stuff. She's crying and making noises and stuff, but you can tell that there's just liquid in there. So Seth is like, okay, we need to get this done. So finally the midwife was like, are you okay with cutting the cord now? And I'm like, whatever you think. Like, so we detached the baby from me. Now I have this placenta, which they said I couldn't deliver in the tub, which is fine because I wouldn't want to do that anyway. The water's disgusting. I'm glad Seth didn't get in there. We do immediate skin to skin, try and breastfeed right away because your boob, I don't know what part of your boob, your nipple, releases a smell similar to amniotic fluid. So your baby is attracted to your boob from the start. So if you can, try and breastfeed from the start. If you can't, just do it as soon as you can. So we do the skin to skin, I deliver the placenta. Then I consumed my placenta, not with like a fork and knife. We brought a cooler to put it in, to give to, if you're in Minnesota, How to Mom is who I did it through. Put it in a cooler, you're like, hey, just had the baby, just birthed the placenta. And then she comes like a couple hours later to pick it up. And then just got to bond with my little babe. With Aaliyah, we had one name, Aaliyah. That was the name. And I was like, I wish that we had gone with like a handful of names. For months afterwards, I was like, did we name her the right name? Now it fits her perfectly. And Seth never questioned it. I was like, look, I get to name the next baby as long as you also approve, but like I get final say. He was like, okay. Romy was the name. R-O-M-Y. I loved it. I was on it, but I was like, but I wish we had had a handful of names for Aaliyah. So let's come up with a handful of names for this one too. Then when she was born, I was like, she doesn't feel like a Romy. And it really hurt my soul because I was so excited for this name, but it didn't fit her. And so Esme was the other one that kind of fit. Just so weird. Like, how does this creature that just came out of you seem like they have a name? I was like, don't tell anybody yet what we decide the name is, but here at the hospital, let's start calling her Romy. So we wrote Romy on the board. The nurse came in, she's like, how's Romy doing? And I was like, my brain stumbled over Romy when she said it. And he was like, well, you're the one that came up with this, man. I was like, I don't think I did. I think this is your name again. You're gonna name our other kid too. This is reverse psychology. And then I thought about nicknames, and it could be Ezzy. I call her Ez now all the time. Postpartum with this baby has been night and day different from postpartum with number one. Better, way better, like little to no tears. So I want to like explain all the things that I did differently so that if you were struggling like I was with my first, you can have some tips in your toolbox, or if you're pregnant, that's coming. And then we had to sleep train Aaliyah, and it went incredibly well, so I want to have a video on that. I've got so much to share, so I'm glad I'm getting back into it. If there's anything else that you want to see, please comment below. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will catch you on Instagram. My handle is HEYSHAYLA, or in the comments below. Mwah. Bye.